I'm Lauren, and I'm the GM of Shadowrun Corporate Sins on Hyper RPG. You can check us out every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on twitch.tv/hyperrpg, or later on you can watch our videos over on YouTube. I've been talking you through a series of videos to explain how does Shadowrun work and how can you play it if you're interested in starting your own campaign or understanding just a little bit more about what our players are doing at the table. Today I'm going to walk you through the Matrix in the Sixth World. The Matrix in the Sixth World is all around us. Everything that is digital as a device and was wireless is connected to the Matrix. Players have a few different ways that they can interact with devices. They can either look at things through augmented reality, which is AR, or virtual reality, which is VR. Depending how they're looking at the Matrix, they'll have different bonuses to their interactions with devices. On the Matrix, devices can either be floating around in space, which might be like a smart linked gun on one of our NPCs, or a comm link that one of our characters is wearing. Alternatively, devices can be more heavily protected. They might be inside what's called a host, which is basically a secured building or location on the Matrix. Hosts make it a lot harder for our deckers to interact with devices that are inside of them because they provide their own protection and security for any of their devices. That's pretty common for anything like secured files or security systems that a corporation might not want just any old group of Shadowrunners to have access to. In order for our players, particularly Mainframe, our decker, to do anything on the Matrix, they have to convince devices that they're authorized users, that they're allowed to affect them, that they can do something to them. To do that, they place a mark. A mark is like a digital stamp or signature on a device within the Matrix. The more marks they place on a device, the more they can do to that, because that makes a device think that they're an authorized user. It's like running your computer in administrator settings versus just a regular person. Once marks are placed on an object, that's when Mainframe, our decker, can have her wicked way with the device. She can do things like shutting it off, rebooting it, bricking it, which is making it cease functioning in its entirety. She can copy files, she can edit files, all sorts of fun things that you can do to get Matrix devices to act the way you want. Generally speaking, anything you want to do on the Matrix is going to be an opposed test. You're going to be rolling your skills and attributes against the device rating or security attributes of a host that a device is protected by. All devices have their own data processing, which is how smart or how many files and things they can store on them, and a firewall rating, which is how protected that device is. And typically, those are the two things a device is going to use to defend with. Devices that can do more nefarious things on the Matrix will also have attack ratings to damage other devices, or sleaze ratings, which are their way of infiltrating them. So when Mainframe is attacking something while she's in virtual reality, she's using the attack and sleaze, data processing, and firewall of her device in place of many of her own attributes. All of this might sound like a pretty easy way of manipulating things around us, but deckers have to be really careful. As they do anything that involves attack or sleaze, they might spark the ire of the protection and security forces on the Matrix. They're racking up an Overwatch score, and if it gets too high, Matrix security will descend on them, and they'll be in serious trouble. Other issues might arise if our players are inside a host. Hosts might launch intrusion countermeasures, or they might have their own decker on hand to deal with any possible attacks on their devices. Sometimes the Matrix also doesn't stay digital. Our players often have to contend with drones or other physical security measures that are devices on the Matrix. Drones might be attacking them with guns and can often be dealt with through the use of physical attacks like guns and swords, but Mainframe can also get at them as a decker through the Matrix. She has to be careful though. Sometimes a drone might be controlled by a rigger, which is a person that uses drones essentially as an extension of their own body, and in which case it's a lot harder to get inside that drone and get it to do what you want. Let's look at a few examples. As Mainframe's looking at the world in augmented reality, she sees one of our NPCs has a smart linked gun. She wants to attack it in order to brick it, to stop it from hurting her friends. As Mainframe's looking at the device, she wants to brick it, so she's going to do a data spike. She'll use her logic plus cyber combat as her dice pool, rolling her 15 dice, and she compares that to the defense of the device itself. It'll roll its data processing and firewall, which only is 6 because it's not a particularly highly rated device. Mainframe got a total of 5 net hits, which means she uses her attack rating from her device, her comlink, which is 7, plus her 5 net hits, which means she deals a total of 12 damage. The device then gets to resist that damage using, again, only their 6 dice, and ends up taking a total of 10 damage. That's matrix damage, which prevents the device from working as a smart linked gun. She's bricked it, which means that poor NPC is gonna have to toss it out and try and hit her with something else. This time, let's say Mainframe is inside of a host. She sees a file that she wants to copy, so she's going to roll her computer plus logic skill and gets a total of 5, 6, 7 net hits on her attack. This time, because the file is inside of a host, it gets to roll the host defense, which is significantly higher. It's rolling the data processing and firewall and gets a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 net hits. Because the net hits are equal to each other, nothing ends up happening. If, for example, Mainframe had 1 less hit and only got 6, the device is getting 7, she failed on her sleaze attack, which means that the hostess knows she's there and launches intrusion countermeasures to protect against her attacks. Now, 2 IC have showed up, which means they're going to attack her as well, and everyone inside of the host rolls their initiative. The IC gets a higher initiative with 27, and Mainframe only has 23. So they're going to go first and attack her, trying to do matrix damage to get her out of the host. Again, the IC, because it's part of the host, uses the host's rating, rolls their dice pool, and she gets to defend against it, using her willpower plus device rating. In this case, Mainframe has 1 less hit than the host, so the IC's attack on her is successful. She'll take matrix damage equal to their attack rating plus that 1 net hit. She then has to resist that damage, which in this case is 6, and she only takes 1 point of matrix damage, which isn't quite enough to boot her from the matrix. If the host gets any marks on her or continues to attack her, they may do things like find out where her physical location is or apply more matrix damage, forcing her to take both physical and stun damage depending on how she's entered the matrix. Overall, in the Six world, the matrix is everywhere. Devices that are wireless are connected to it at all times, and deckers can use their skills to access these devices and get them to do things that they might not otherwise do. Turn them off, restart them, crash their programs, or copy files that are secured. When dealing with the matrix, they might be in augmented reality, which is just looking at the world with an overlay, or in virtual reality, where they're fully immersed inside the matrix. Devices that they're interacting with might be floating out in the matrix, or they might be protected inside a heavily secured hosts. They also have to be careful when they contend with the matrix. There are all sorts of defenses that will come up to try and stop them from doing what they're doing. If they're inside a host, it might be intrusion countermeasures, or if they rack up too high of an Overwatch score, they might cause the security of the matrix to descend on them. Our deckers are incredibly important parts of a Shadowrunning team, but they always have to make sure that they are careful both in the matrix and in meat space. Thank you for watching our How to Play Shadowrun video. If you would like to keep watching Shadowrun Corporate Sins, click over here for our playlist, or to subscribe to our HyperRPG channel, click over here. Last, if you would like a chance to win some of this awesome swag on the table, leave a comment or question below and we'll pick a random winner. Thanks for watching.